Hello. Cheap violins. The Cecilio, it's made by Cecilio, I guess, but this is the Mendini MV300, and it doesn't really get cheaper than this. You know, it has a pressed top. It's just not carved. Not much fluting around the edges. Let's talk technical stuff. Not much fluting along the edges, so it's going to be on the screechy bright side. When you get the fluting down there, kind of, it's somewhat of a rule. The more fluting, the darker the sound, the more ominous as it is. But looking at it, look at the clean glue lines on this. I'm going to have to give this props. It's very well constructed. There's really no deficiencies whatsoever as far as construction. It's a good job. The corners are blocked. Inside there's actually blocks, and it's fully lined. There's liner, and it's neatly done. I can see in there. The construction's pretty good, but probably a laminate and not like actual carved maple, plywood basically. And so you're starting out as a deficit. How I hot rodded mine improved the sound. First of all, when I received it, these pegs were not fitted properly. Most of them barely even stuck through the opposite side. And so I took a reamer, it's a tool, very carefully, pulled the pegs out, fitted them nicely, did a little bit of sanding, so I don't need the fine tuner. So the pegs are fitted nicely. I even sanded the little edges there so it's not just sharp like to cut it off with a saw. I lowered the action to what should be. I didn't need to file the nut down to get it. It was pretty good, but boy, it was a high action. So lowered the bridge, thinned the bridge, fitted it to the top a little better. Some other things you can tell. This is a boxwood Guarneri style chin piece. The one that came with it, I believe it was ebony or maple that was colored to look like ebony. No sound difference. I just had that boxwood one kicking around, so I did old switcheroo. This is not this tailpiece that came on it. No, no, no. I'm going to talk about the bridge a little bit more, placement, but I adjusted the bridge. I think the sound post is glued in. So what I did was I slid the bridge, started at one thickness right here, the thickness of the top plate, where the sound post attaches, or is stuck, right behind this foot here. The distance, the thickness, is the starting point where the edge, the front edge of the sound post should be that distance from the back edge of the foot. That's the sweet spot. But then you adjust it a little back and forth. Again, I'm not adjusting the sound post. I think it's glued, so I cheated by using a bridge, slid it to get the best tone. You don't just say, there's the notches on the F-holes, that's where the bridge goes. No, sir. You have to consider the relationship between the sound post and the bridge. And so I've got it at the best sound to get the upper strings sounding right. The bass bar really handles these things to most of the degree, but the placement of the sound post in relation to the bridge gives you the tone here. You don't just say, I took my cheap violin and put better strings on it. No, sir, Bob. The sound post is important. So again, cheated it without moving the sound post because it's generally in the right spot. Move the bridge back and forth, starting at that point, the distance, the thickness of the top, but then finagled it to fine tune. It's like Edgar says, it's a joystick, and you can control the tone that way. Okay, now once I hit that, I adjusted the tail gut on this hill style ebony tail piece, so the distance from, let's call that the tailpiece nut, to the bridge is 1/6 the distance from the bridge to this nut. It's important, 1/6. It vibrates back here. In fact, they say to tune this to an A, this tail right there, the beyond length, tune to an A, a little off, but generally it's an A, to get things resonating right. The weight of the tailpiece, the ability for that to vibrate determines to some degree the tone. So I took the junky one off and replaced it with this. So now I've got the bridge placement to the sound post, better tailpiece, 1/6 the distance. And so, Bob's your uncle, as they say. Does this thing sound like a Guagnini or a Stradivari or a Granari? No. But it definitely sounds a lot better since I did these mods. Not just changing the strings, which I'm going to change the strings. These are dominants. Not the best. Dominants I don't have dominants on my other violins because I don't care for them. They're not a complex string. This one, violin will sound better when I put maybe tonicas on, or if I want to spend big bucks, visions like I have on one of my other violins. But I've noticed the difference between all these little modifications to get this cheap violin sounding a little better. Kind of lost it there at the end, but whatever.